You Nigerian that is angry because Burkina Faso have refused to release those 11 suspects and is calling on the government to invade them, you need to think twice. You and your military are too weak. That's why a fellow military man like them has pressed them like a well-ironed cloth. Now they can't even scream. They are begging under the guise of diplomacy. Your leaders haven't invaded them yet because they know the truth that you have refused to accept. The fact that they are incapable. You can't even take out bandits. These bandits even possess better weapons than you. But you see the AES army, they send these bandits to their maker without breaking a sweat. In this case, Nigeria is Goliath, but Burkina Faso is David, and they are coming with more than just a sling. They are coming with ammunitions that you can never have. That means they are going to take many shots at us, and by the time they are done, there will be little to nothing left. Don't judge them by their size. They are very formidable and they are heavyweight. Even with your population of 220 million, you are lightweight, you are disunited, and you are weak. Be quiet. That's what I think.
If you are honest as a Nigerian, I'm sure you have noticed this thing. Nigeria was well respected in Africa before this period. Africa always respect Nigeria. They always look up to Nigeria until something happened. If you look critically, from 2020 upwards, Nigeria has lost its position in Africa. Africans don't more see Nigerian like the so-called giants of Africa. Firstly, when Nigerians took family to invade Niger, that was when Africans started to see Nigerian like a threat to Africa and not more their brothers. Secondly, when Nigeria go ahead to invade Benin in order to protect France's interest in Benin, then Africa still feel like, no, Nigeria is betraying us. Let's forget about history and face what we are able to see now. The government of Nigeria since 2020 to now is making Africans to hate Nigeria all over. I'm serious about what I'm saying. I'm just trying to be honest to you guys. If you are honest to yourself, I'm sure you are experiencing it. I'm not the only one seeing it. And just of recent, Nigerian government sent their spy jets into Burkina Faso, the heart of Africa, to spy against Ibrahim Traore and send information to France. And those soldiers were arrested with the aircraft. Nigeria, how could you do that and think Africa will still like you? We all understand how Africa like Burkina Faso. There is no single African young man who don't like Ibrahim Traore and he don't like Burkina Faso. So these are the instances just from 2020 that Nigeria has done to Africa that make Africans to hate Nigeria as a country. Let's forget about what happened in history. And if you are a Nigerian, you can see the growing hate against the country. It's because of all these things. And the funny part is, so many Nigerians are pretending to be like the country is innocent. Africans just hate them. No, they don't just hate you. You as a Nigerian, I know you like Ibrahim Traore. I know you are not in support of what your government is doing. But the truth still remains. That is what your country is doing. So if you don't like what your government is doing, it is not okay for you to come out and say, we don't have to talk about Nigeria. We see Nigerians talking about other people's countries. We see very dark man addressing the issues in Cameroon. We Cameroonians do not come out to say, don't talk about our country. Don't talk about our president like that. But when they talk about Nigeria, you guys have to say, you don't have to talk about Nigeria. You know, what is Nigeria? And the country is causing problems to Africa. Just from 2020, you can see it for yourself. You can see it. These are just 3 instances I have shown to you for you to see how Nigeria is losing respect in front of Africa. Please share this video to get to so many Nigerians to understand what I'm trying to say. And if you are honest as a Nigerian or as an African, I'm sure you must have noticed this. Yes, because I'm talking with fact. Before 2020, maybe there were not so many Africans using internet to know what Nigeria was doing to Africa. But as of now, there are so many Africans on internet, and they know who are Nigeria, how they are standing against Africa to protect Western interests. Western interests. We don't need America to come to Africa or France. We have Nigeria already doing the work of those countries. We have it in the name of our brother. When you want to talk Nigerian, will come out and say, you don't have to talk about our country. Hipopo, Nigeria.
How can you tell mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters to be loyal to Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his government when the government is sending their children to prison? Their crimes are for protesting because they are hungry. How can you tell mothers and fathers that, how can you tell the 4.4 million children in Nigeria that to be loyal to Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his government when they are hungry? Malnutrition is unaliving more than 4.4 million children in Nigeria almost. How can you tell more than the 300,000 Nigerians that lost their lives? How can you tell their families to be loyal to Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his government when he is watching bandits, Boko Haram terrorist groups uploading videos on the internet, TikTok, live videos on Facebook? Nigerian security services and the army cannot find those terrorists, their locations, but they can find young children who protest because of hunger and put them into prison. How can you tell people like that to be loyal to a government that is not loyal to them? How can you tell family members, who had to flee their homes, more than 1.2 million people flee their homes because of Boko Haram terror, to be loyal to a government which is not loyal to them? Bola Ahmed Tinubu went to Rome in Italy to go and attend their funeral there of that Christian leader. The same day, Nigerians were being butchered in Nigeria. No one even posted that one online to even show their condolences to those people. How can you tell those families to be loyal to a government that is not loyal to them? You see, my friend, loyalty is something that you build based on trust. People in Nigeria are loyal to Captain Ibrahim Traore, or they are supporting him, not because of they are traitors or not because of they want to betray the government of Nigeria, but because Captain Ibrahim Traore is loyal to the African people. You see, Captain Ibrahim Traore does not go to Rome to attend someone's funeral when his people are dying back at home. Captain Ibrahim Traore does not go to Paris to stay 1 week there when people are dying back at home. This is what you should know. So loyalty is something that you cannot just buy by talking on the internet, by opening your mouth like you are the best, No, that is not how it works. Bola Ahmed Tinubu failed the people of Nigeria. The Nigerian army fails the people of Nigeria. This is the truth. They are just dancing to the Western tunes. That is what they are doing. Dirty politics instead of removing the colonial laws by owning those oil fields, by owning the mineral resources like the way Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger did. That is what Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government should do. He refused to do that. His term now is coming to an end. You are now blaming the Nigerian poor citizens who are crying for hunger to be loyal to him. No, I am not Nigerian and I am also not a Burkinabe. But guess what? If you should compare Captain Ibrahim Traore and my own president today, I am going to be loyal to Captain Ibrahim Traore than my president as well. Because Captain is loyal to the people of Africa as a whole. You just need to shut your mouth up.
Ibrahim Traore, Asimi Goita, General Tiyani. I'm from Nigeria. Listen. If you see anyone from Nigeria coming to disrupt your country, if you see any armies coming to double cross your countries, wipe them out. Wipe them out. Because you, Ibrahim Traore, Asimi Goita, General Tiyani, three of you is the only presidents that we know in this continent right now. You guys are the only genuine presidents that we know in this continent right now. The rest of them are useless to us. Until the rest of them put our continent first. Until the rest of them put our countries first. We don't know them. We are with you 100%. As a matter of fact, 200%. Ibrahim Traore, if this video gets to you, we are promising you, if the US use Bola Ahmed Tinubu to get to your country, to get to the AES, we will burn Nigeria down. I'm making this video. I am from Nigeria. I want to let you know this. from Nigeria, but you are the president that I know. Because the AES is an organization that is started in our continent, sponsored in our continent. The AES is not sponsored by Europe. It's not sponsored by the United States. It's not sponsored by European Union. It's sponsored by you in our continent. It's sponsored by Asimi Goita in our continent. It's sponsored by General Siyani in our continent. So that's the only organization that we know. I say again, the AES is the only true organization that represents us in this continent. African Union does not represent us. ECOWAS does not represent us. Because those organizations, African Union, ECOWAS, they are sponsored by the Europe, they are sponsored by the United States, they are sponsored by France. Therefore, they are not working for us. They are not working for us. We don't know them, but we know the AES because it's sponsored by our brothers only. And I promise you, if Nigerians, any Nigerians or any country, anywhere, anybody they use, they are going to be using to do anything rubbish in your country, wipe them out. Wipe them out.
Point of correction, it's not all Nigerians that are against Ibrahim Traore. The only people, the only tribe in Nigeria that are against Ibrahim Traore are Yorubas. And we have to make this clear. The whole Africa need to know. It's that time Africa stop saying Nigerians are against Ibrahim Traore. No, you are very wrong. The only people against Ibrahim Traore are Yorubas. Yes, they are the only one that is telling Ibrahim Traore to continue to bow to the colonial master, to continue to give everything to the colonial master. They are Yorubas. The rest, Igbos, Bini, Shekiri, Bayelsa, they love Ibrahim Traore. Yes, that is what I'm telling you. In case of next time, don't just come out online and say Nigeria are against Ibrahim Traore. No. A lot of Nigeria are seeing Ibrahim Traore as the president of Africa. A lot of Nigeria are seeing Ibrahim Traore as Africa giant. So the only people, the only tribe in Nigeria against Ibrahim Traore are Yorubas, but we don't know why. The rest of us, the rest of Nigeria don't know why. But the only tribe online that have show hatred against Ibrahim Traore, they are the Yorubas. They are from the southwest of Nigeria. God bless you all.
Nigeria, some of your politicians are trying to put your country in trouble. Following the detention of Nigerian military personnel and a Nigerian Air Force aircraft in Burkina Faso, diplomacy became the official path. But within Nigeria, some political voices are arguing that diplomacy alone may not be enough. And one of the most prominent voices is Senator Ayodele Arise. He is urging the federal government not to rule out military options if negotiations fail. His argument is framed around national dignity, deterrence, and sovereignty. The position is that Nigeria must signal strength because prolonged patience in this view could encourage future detentions of Nigerian personnel abroad. And this rhetoric is emerging from three reasons. 1, Nigeria sees itself as a regional power. 2, the AES states are openly rejecting ECOWAS authority. And 3, the continued detention is being interpreted domestically as a loss of leverage. This gap between official diplomacy and domestic political pressure is the real story. It shows how fragile West African security relations have become. This isn't about war, at least not yet. It's about how power is signaled in a region where trust is breaking down. And history reminds us that nobody truly wins such wars.
The leader of Burkina Faso, military junta, Ibrahim Traore, should release the 11 military personnel head by his government that continued detention is condemnable. Sani Shehu said this. You see, when I say Ibrahim Traore is a Nigerian, when I think say Ibrahim Traore is a Nigerian leader who are so corrupt, Nigerians, we are too proud. That is our problem. We commit a national, international offense. We violate laws. And you are saying this kind of thing for your person, for your personality, for how you show that you are educated. This is what you are saying. That you are condemning the act. You are even saying that somebody that has so many enemies. You see, Ibrahim Traore doesn't have any enemy. Ibrahim Traore is loved by the people and is loved by Africans. Is loved in the world. If you don't know, I will tell you. It's like when they forget. When Ibrahim Traore went to Ghana, you see the massive love. Our people show him love. He's the only president that came that the whole world, they shake. When America tried to invade Burkina Faso, Americans came out to protest against it. That shows how they love him. Africa, Nigerians love Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso president, more than our Nigerian leaders. If you don't know, you should know. Ghanaians love Ibrahim Traore. Name it, South Africans, they love Ibrahim Traore. So he doesn't have enemies. You people, you the politicians are the enemies. You violate somebody law. You went to spy somebody in his country and you are calling that condemnable. Sometimes our leaders are so stupid. Sometimes when we see them, they are very stupid. Russia war and Ukraine war. Today, what happened is because of NATO want to build that military base, that NATO space in Ukraine. Putin rejected because they want to spy on Putin. Claimed by Putin. And Putin said no. If Ukraine accept that, there will be war. And that war has been into existence for years now. And the world, even NATO, they are begging Putin now to end the war because it's not what they think. So, listen to what happened and remember what happened in Ukraine with Russia. When NATO, the Europeans, even America was involved in that war. But today, they are calling Russia, Putin, to end the war. If you think that you people have power, go and try Ibrahim Traore. Go and try Burkina Faso. You people will beg Burkina Faso to end the war. I'm telling you people will beg. Nigerians will beg. Nigerian government will beg to end this war. If they try anything, Burkina Faso has come out with a statement. The president, Ibrahim Traore, he said they are ready for anything. They are ready to launch any missile from their country to Abuja or to anywhere in Nigeria. So if you think you want to start war because of your 11 soldiers who violated international law, do you know the offense of what those soldiers did? They are following order. Who give that order? Do you know the offense? That is a death sentence or a life imprisonment. Nigeria was the one that sanctioned Burkina Faso. That if Burkina Faso enter the airspace, they will gun them down. Why Nigeria decide to go after Burkina Faso also sanction Nigeria? That's it. You people are enemies. What are you doing in that territory? What are you doing in that territory? Nigeria and I find trouble now. I see the proud, they talk, say, what they beg. Not supposed to they beg, they roll body for ground, they beg. Now they talk all this kind of things. So that the verse for our politician if I see all this kind of things. Honestly speaking, some knowing.
Let me tell you what will happen to those 11 soldiers and the aircraft. Ibrahim Traore is the last man. He is the judge. He is the one to decide the fate of those military and the aircraft. And after he decided, there is no one. I mean, no one will lift a muscle, a finger. If he decide to keep them lifetime imprisonment, Nigeria will not see a thing. If they decide to execute them, it depends on which crime they fall on. Recently, they have reinstated death penalty and other crimes in Burkina Faso. So let's pray they don't fall into these three categories: treason, espionage, and terrorism. If they fall into it, bro, well, I just feel for the soldiers because the government, they are there, they are okay. And that's it. Ibrahim Traore is the one to decide. Now, let's say Nigeria is to take military into Burkina Faso to go and rescue those 11 soldiers. They need authorization from the United Nations, which they will not have. And by the way, most of the Nigerians on social media that don't know how the international politics works. So you are only thinking about the local politics in Nigeria. And you know, where you break the law and you bribe your way out, where you are bigger than the law. And this is not the local politics. The way many of you are saying on the social media, it's like you are in Nigeria. It's like Burkina Faso is in Nigeria. No. This you are outside of Nigeria. So think outside Nigeria. If not, you will not be talking about Nigeria taking military into Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso has break no law. Nigeria is the one in problem now. To rescue the 11 soldiers, they are worrying how, which means they will do to bring them out. Because the only means is diplomatically. And if Burkina Faso refuse, that's the only means. They will not take military into Burkina Faso. As I said, they need authorization from the United Nations. Let's say a Western country persuade your president to take military into Burkina Faso, and they did that anyway. Now you have a bigger problem. You remember Ukraine, how they now call Putin a war criminal because he did a military operation in Ukraine. He invaded a sovereign nation. So now the international court, they want Putin as a war criminal. So the moment Nigeria do the same thing to Burkina Faso, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will become a war criminal and he will be a wanted man. And the only difference here now is that Tinubu is not Putin. He's not well prepared. He's like that. So they will do whatever, and that will be a bigger reason, a very good reason for America now to come and liberate the people of Nigeria, the Christians or maybe the resources. They will liberate whatever they want to liberate. So instead of you to think about local politics, go outside Nigeria. Think outside Nigeria. Yeah, that is the best way I can advise you to do. And it's not a shame for Burkina Faso to seize the aircraft and arrest those military. It's their right. Nigeria use their airspace without authorization. So they can do whatever. The only means for Nigeria is diplomatic, not violence. If they do violence, they are more in a bigger problem than you think. So this is the scenario. So as always, and follow for more facts and updates.
Good day to our viewers all over the world, and welcome back to Local Journal. As much as we are praying that this whole issue between Burkina Faso and Nigeria does not escalate into a full-time war, I still want to state this: two wrongs cannot make a right. Nigeria was wrong to invade Burkina Faso airspace or violate their airspace. However, Burkina Faso keeping the Nigerian military men and seizing their plane, their aircraft, it's no longer something that will call Africa brotherhood any longer. Of course, they might see Nigeria as like a foe, an enemy at this moment, basically because Nigeria is frolicking with France, and this is the same France that they were able to kick out of their country recently, and as such, they see Nigeria as an enemy and as a foe. That's quite okay. However, the beef we have with France or maybe these colonial masters shouldn't be the reason why you should be trying to like kind of have or going to war with your own brother. If anything happens now, it's all going to be in Africa. If anything is going to happen now, the battleground and whatsoever is going to be in Africa. Africa will only suffer the brunt. So the thing is this: why don't you just come and settle this whole thing? Why don't Nigeria government, why don't Burkina Faso yield to this diplomatic route and the settlement Nigeria government is preferring, and they are acting too very stubborn? I can see that so many Nigerians and Africans are supporting Burkina Faso and Ibrahim Traore, but I don't think this is going in a bad light. I just basically think is maybe their dislike for the current administration and Tinubu that is making this whole thing like this. Of course, I know every Nigerian reserve their right to support or dislike a government, and of course I never supported this government from day one, in as much as some of their policies are spot on. However, this time, at this point, this is not time that we should be like kind of spreading division and causing anything that will cause tension between the both countries. And we all know, I'm not trying to brag or see anything that it's not like real or maybe practicable here. In a real life sense, we all know that Burkina Faso is a no match for Nigeria, but I know what they are trusting or maybe banking on is the support of Russia. However, we shouldn't be like kind of, these two African countries are brothers and shouldn't be acting in this manner. This is something that should be settled amicably, and you can tell them that this is the last warning you're giving them. You can give them a fine or whatsoever, but it shouldn't escalate into or degenerate into what people are foreseeing now, because it doesn't just make any sense to be proving and acting so stubborn in this manner. We have so many things that are important for us to discuss as Africans, not like trying to fight ourselves and trying to fan the ember of war and disunity. So my own advice is this: regardless of the support Ibrahim Traore enjoys from Africa and Nigerians, I believe the best thing he needs to do in the interest of Burkina Faso and Africa in general is to release these 11 men that is currently being held in detention and the Nigerian aircraft. This is my opinion. Drop what you think about this in the comment section, and if today is your first time to visit our channel, please kindly like, share and subscribe to our channel.